freeze.
Welcome back to the next part of this Truth and Rhythm episode. Be sure to subscribe to this channel. If you've already done so, please share it with friends. Also become a member by joining Truth and Rhythm on Patreon, or consider donating at funkinstuff.net. Thank you so much for your interest and support. Enjoy. You know, I hear a lot of common threads with go-go music that emerged out of DC. Which kind of came first, you or do you think you influenced go-go?
No, I don't know. I don't know because we used to work together, you know. I used to go down to DC with my Fatback Band, and we used to battle together. So I don't know whether I stole his style or he stole my style. But we played together a lot, and we was very good friends. And so I don't know whether I influenced it or not, but I know that we do sound alike, and I know that most of the music that you hear out there right now, you can hear Fatback in it.
Well, and that sound really started to catch on when you had like the Bus Stop and the Booty and the Spanish Hustle, and you started getting all these hits. But now I understand you guys didn't tour that much, though, right? You're mostly cutting records.
Yeah, it was not by design. Now I'm gonna tell you that it wasn't nobody booking us. That didn't nobody know about us. We was like a kind of cult band. We was a underground band. The only people knew about us was between Washington D.C. and Boston. Below D.C., they didn't know about Fatback. The music didn't get that far. And once when we got known throughout the South and place, we lost our cult following. And we one of the reasons that Fatback, I think, didn't do that much is because I was a one-man band. Like I was a manager, producer, performer, writer, and everything. And see, during that time, if you didn't have your a manager or somebody out front, one of the connection, so-called connection, you wasn't going so far. Well, I owned everything, and I refused to give up anything, and that's why they didn't bother with me.
Well, you know, being the age that I am, I came to Fatback with I Like Girls. So that was the one that caught me and just knocked me out, became a huge fan. And then I went back to learn the other stuff. And then everything that came out after that, I was right on top of. So, but what a monster classic track that was.
Yes, girls. I'm gonna tell you about I Like the Girls. Did you hear that intro on I Like the Girl?
Yeah, it's great.
You know, that was the night of the blackout.
Oh.
You remember the big blackout in New York they had? They had all the power went out on 57th Street and all around New York. We took the microphone outside the building and captured that sound, that street sound. And we used it as the intro on Girls. I like the Girls. That's actually the street sound out there.
Wow. Really gave it that special ambiance before going
Yeah,
into that killer groove.
yes, yes. Yeah. And and don't ask me how I came up with the idea. I like the girls and girls, but I'm trying to I'm trying to think. How did I get into that groove? Oh, oh, that was a Jerry Thomas type groove. Yeah, it was. Now Jerry claims that I stole his beat on Girls. I told him that I know the beat sound like your beat, but I added a little something extra to it. But he said, "You took my beat. That's what it is. That's my beat." But I told him, I added a little something. To this day, he'll go around, yes, that Bill took my beat. That's right. And he going around claiming that's his beat. But on Girls had a funny kind of funny signature on a time signature, but it was a fun tune to do. I think we did that tune at Media Sound on 57th Street.
I felt kind of like a track like The Booty was sort of like a precursor to the I Like Girls kind of sound, with you kind of being like a Toastmaster and, saying stuff and that groove going.
Yeah, well, we did a lot of booty tunes. We did about 3 booty tunes, and we did and I think we was on a. Someone brought my attention to it about girls. He said, "Bill, every tune you do got girls or big leg girls in it," and it made me conscious of it. I had to start start cutting out the big legs in there because I always talking about them big leg girls, and and the booty. Now, are you talking about who stole the booty or the booty bounce?
It's the one from 75.
Is that who stole the booty?
The only title I got is The Booty.
I think that's who stole the booty. That well, I Jared was telling me when I started on the booty tune. He was saying, "Be careful now, be careful. Don't go too far. Don't go too far." So I had to make it turn into talking about the pirates who collect booties. They call it their booty.
Yeah, yeah.
That's what I turned. That's what I was
The
talking
double
about.
entendre.
Yeah, yes, yes, yeah, yes.
Yeah.
That's what. Who stole the booty?
That way you get radio play, hopefully.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. Uh, you guys straddled so many different genres, and the record labels, they love to pigeonhole and put in certain places and things like that. But did you consider Fatback more of a dance band, an R&B band, a funk band, a soul band? What was it?
Fatback is last of the dance bands. We was the last of the dance bands, and that's what I consider. That we are a dance band, and I make fun music. I make music to dance by and have fun by. I if you notice, you don't see many ballads on my songs.
Nope.
And if you notice, all my songs are like comedy songs because I was a big fan of Louis Jordan, and I'm also a big fan of Spike Jones. So therefore, you see where I'm coming from.
Were you a prankster at heart also?
Not really, not really, but Louis could take that Timpani Five group and sound like a big band, and Louis was always telling stories. I tell people about Louis Jordan. He was a forerunner of R&B. I still say he was rapping before everybody else was rapping.
I know he had a huge impact at James Brown and so many others
Yeah,
too.
yeah,
Um, you guys are also, you mentioned about Louis Jordan first rap, but you guys are kind of credited with doing the first rap in terms of getting radio play with Kim Tim the Third in '79,
yes,
which I believe preceded Rapper's Delight that same year in getting some airplay.
yes, yes. There's a big story behind that. A big story. Uh, Behind Fatback, whole history is big stories, and it's all. And I call them the Fatback history story, and I have other names for it too, but King Tim the Third was I got the idea from taking my band playing, because in New York we was very popular, and I also worked for the city. You know how they have the recreation uh, centers have bands coming, street bands coming around entertaining in the neighborhood in the summer. That's what Fatback did. We did a lot of that. That's why I call myself street band. And uh, we was up in the Bronx, and we was playing up there in the streets. And in between, they had these jockeys coming on, and they was killing it with the rap and stuff. That's the first time I ever heard the rap Grandmaster. That's the first time I heard it, and it was so exciting and everything. Well, I I didn't think of it as something I wanted to record at that time. When I was up, so when I went in the studio, we were recording an album called "Feel the Beat." I think "Feel the Beat." Well, anyway, and Jerry and I was looking at the album, and I said, Jerry said, "Okay, we about finished with this." And I said, "Jerry, we don't have no hit in this album. We don't have nothing that's catching my attention. We don't have nothing that's exciting." Jerry said, "So what you want to do?" I said, I don't know. I said, "We got to pull a rabbit out of the hat and do something here." And I said, "Jerry, let's do a rap." What them cats was doing up there in the Bronx. He said, "Bill, we don't nobody know how to rap in the band." He said, "We just know how to talk. Don't even know how to talk that damn good." So it happened that one of the roadies heard us talk, and he said, "I got a buddy up there in Harlem who can rap." I said, "Kenny?" He said, "Yeah." I said, "Well, bring him in tomorrow night, man. We'll throw him on this track." Yeah. And it happened to be Timothy Washington. And he brought Tim in. And what happened was we already had the track and everything, just made the tune. And we flew Tim in on that. We played the track down to him. I said, "Can you rap to this?" He said, "Yeah." We flew him in there. Him and Jerry wrote up a rap together. And Tim went in there and we flew him on the track. And he laid it, knocked it out in 2 tries. And we put it together, and we mixed it, his voice in there. That was the making of King Tim the Third. But it didn't start out as a rap track, and it it turned into one. And I carried it to the record company, and they wasn't that impressed with it because they felt like we was intruding on the DJs. We was intruding on the DJs, and we were taking over what they usually do. And they say, "We don't want to do anything to upset the jockeys. You know, you taking their play." I said, "Well, man, listen, I just left from down Philadelphia. where they was having the DJs convention. You remember when they used to have the disc jockey convention? Jack the Rapper used to
Yeah.
have them.
Yep.
Went down and played it for Jack the Rapper and played it for the DJs. They fell in love with it. They said, "This is it, man. This is gonna be the biggest thing ever hit the market. Everything." So I came back and I told Spring and them about it. Spring said, "No, no, we're not doing that, man." So they say, "Bill, we not going with that tune." He say, "If you insist on us going with King Tim III as the A side, we're not gonna put no publicity, no promotion, no nothing behind it, no, no nothing behind it." I said, "If y'all insist on going with that tune, at least put King Tim III on the back." I said, "What tune you all gonna put on?" They said, "We're going with My Candy Sweet. You My Candy Sweet." I said, "Of all tunes, man, that's a tune I'm singing on. You know I can't carry no damn tune." Yeah, I said, "Why y'all going?" They said that we're going with My Candy Sweet. And they went with that and put King Tim III on the back. But in the meantime, Joe Robinson was out in California, and he had his promotion man out there doing some promotion work. And one of the DJs out there, I think his name was Todd Watts. I can't think his name. Anyway, he said, "Come in here, man. I got something I want to play for you. This is going to be the biggest thing the Fatback ever done in their life." He said, "But they got it on the B side." He said, "What?" He played it. Before he could finish playing the record, this promotion man jumps on the phone, called Joe Roberts, and said, "Joe, get the group in the studio and do a rap and get them done." They had the group already ready and wanting to do a rap. He said, "Go get the rap." That night, Joe went and recorded it, had it out, and the next morning, he had that record on the market the next day. That's how they started playing uh, uh, Delight. What is it? What? Rapper's Delight before they started playing King Tim III, because the record company was stubborn and wouldn't put it on the A side. But we recorded and had it out there. But Joe didn't waste no time. Joe could smell a hit. Yeah.
Did you ever imagine that rap would become a phenomenon from that point?
No, no. If you told me that, no. I told people that. I say rap will that it's a fad. It's gonna go. It's just a fashion thing. You say I'm gonna use it every once in a while, but it's not gonna be my standard thing. I say I throw it in on certain tunes when I feel like it. Feel like it this tune warrants that. And no, I didn't think rap would be anything. I thought it would be here today and gone tomorrow. But it proved to be uh, a genre that caught on a whole culture, and hey, I'm glad to be a part of it.
Yeah, well, Fatback Beats have ended up, being the background for so many after that.
Well, one of the reasons what it was, every jockey or every kid out there who wanted to be a jockey cut their wisdom tooth on fatback music. That's what they started with. They liked that analog, flat, dead, funky sound, and they used. If I had $1 for every sample out there, I would be a rich person.
Well, you should though.
Yeah, yeah. People, everybody under the sun. If you ask any jockey that ever started playing, what was his first record that he sampled, he'll tell you Fatback. What one did you start with? Fatback.
Well, and then in 1980, you came with Hotbox, which is that record behind you we talked about before we went on the air, that gold record, and that was the first maybe only Fatback record, I think, that had two monster hits on one record. Um,
Yeah.
what was it that brought into those sessions that you hit, gold like that so much on that particular record?
Well, one of the things, Scott, is we didn't know what the hell we was doing. All, all we knew, we enjoyed playing the music, and we was making music from our soul and the way we felt. And don't forget, Scott, we never rehearsed before in the studio. The guys that came in the studio to record it with me did not know what they was gonna play. They didn't know, and I didn't know neither. So that's how all that stuff came about.
But how did you decide on the fly to like make the girl background vocal so prominent on something like "Gotta Have Some Money"?
That's Jerry Thomas' work. Jerry Thomas, Jerry Thomas, that's his work.
Hmm.
He knew how to make me sound good.
But the beat on something like "Backstrokin" was a little different, right?
Yeah, yeah. Well, you see, that's where all my music comes from. You see, people will say, Bill, which people ask questions, which come first, the music or the words? With Fatback, the music come first. I would have to make a session, and I would have to take that session home and study the tracks and see what it's saying to me. I interpret the beats. My beats come from me playing the drums. And whatever that beat is saying to me, that's what I come. That's how girls come out, and that's how Backstrokin could come out. And then I work out the lyrics, and then I visualize what I'm gonna sing. Like backstroking is another one of those. Like I was telling you about the booty that backstroking. I wasn't talking about swimming now. So, but I had to make it feel like swimming and make it think about a dance. But I wasn't thinking that way when I was making the song up.
Mm-hmm. I don't think it'd be nearly as nasty of a groove if that was the case.
Yeah, that's where you had to think. That's where you had to think. And
Uh,
a young, I talk to people, that's in the studio record. They can't record like that. They say, Bill, no, man, you got to rehearse it and do it. No, we didn't have to do it. I said, if you mess with it too much, you take all the funk out of it. You take all the feeling. It's like anything else. If you labor over something, it usually take all the soul out of it. Your best take, I tell everybody, and I tell the engineer when I'm in the studio, make sure that switch is on record on my first tape, because the first tape gonna be best thing we ever done that day. Because the headsets in their mind is different. After they get the song under their finger, then their mind start wandering somewhere else and start hearing other stuff to go in there. But once on that first tape, they concentrating on that one song right then and there.
when you were at your commercial peak with Hotbox, did you guys actually do some touring at that point?
Yeah. Oh yeah, we did a lot of touring then.
What were the
We
shows like?
start.
What were the shows like then?
Oh well, put it this way: the shows was nobody wanted us on the show. They would even Patty would say, "No Fatback." They didn't want us on the show. We could only go on. Only a few groups would take us on the show with them as an act. One of the groups was Brother Johnson would take us out. Uh, uh, Commodores would take us out, and the Commodores took us out on the show and had us opening up for them. And they gave us three tunes, and we were so hot on those three tunes they cut us down to two tunes. and we burnt on them 2 tunes, so they cut us down to 1 tune. And then on that 1 tune, they told us to get off after after a few minutes. Just play it down and get off. And Patty wouldn't let us on the shows with her because Fatback was too hot. Because we had that King Tim III going on, and King Tim III would burn the house down.
You know, I talked about a lot of tracks, but one that didn't chart as high, and I didn't mention, but I really love too, is "Let's Do It Again." That's another great track.
Yeah, let's do it again.
Like we did last summer.
Oh, yes, like we did last summer.
Yeah.
Scott, you'd be pulling up some strange tunes, man.
Hey, that guy, well, you know, I grew up in Los Angeles, and they were playing that a lot in LA.
Yeah, let's do it again, like we did last summer. We never played that tune, but maybe once or twice on the show. You know, it's a lot of tunes we have never played that we recorded, and we can't get to them because by the time we get around to them, we done did out 30 minutes or 40 minutes. So we can't, you know, and then if we miss playing one of the hits, the audience go away mad. So that was one of the tunes we never did play that much.
Some of the hits have had such legs that I think over time they've gotten more exposure than they initially did. Like the Bus Stop, you know, kind of ended up being a classic.
Bus Stop came back 2018 with Shaka Khan,
Yep.
and it gave it a whole new life, a whole new life. Bus Stop been around a long, long time, and and Bus Stop came about as one of the tunes that came off the top of my head, and I played with the track at home, and I couldn't find no words to it. The reason why the band started as an instrumental band, so we didn't have no singers in the band, Scott, and I tried to get guys to sing. Johnny could sing, Flip could sing, but they wouldn't sing on recording. So I knew that we couldn't make it as a band out there as a band. We got to have some vocal songs because during that time, you know, those groups was out there and those bands were selling. Groups were selling and bands wasn't selling because they liked this song. So I had to figure out how to sell the band to the public. So I would take these tracks home and see what these tracks is saying to me. And Bus Stop was one I could never get nothing going with it. I could never find their song. So one day the bass player was on there and he heard Bus. We was in the office. And I said, you getting ready to go? He said, yeah, I'm going to party all the way to the bus stop, baby. I see you later. I'm gone. And that's how Bus Stop came about. And I said, damn, that sounds like a good title. Bus Stop. Now, so we got the title Bus Stop, but what you going to do with the, Bus Stop? Then what I thought about was, now I tell people that I wasn't the first one that created the line dances. It was a group called the Griffin Brothers. The Griffin Brothers, the one that had a tune called 4 to the front and 4 to the back. That's where I got the Bus Stop from. And we started doing that to that tune, the Bus Stop. But it really started with the Griffin Brothers. That they called it. I can't think. If you remember the Griffin Brothers, don't you?
I remember that tune. I didn't know who it was by actually.
Yeah, but that was the Griffin Brothers, and but we just brought it back. We just brought it back into a line dance. We started the line dance just like we started the house music, and we also started uh, the funk sound of bands. Like after Fatback got their first big, got noticed, all the record companies wanted bands, wanted the bands. That's how Cameo came back. That's how BT came around. That's how all the other little bands came about because of Fatback. Because the record company, record companies like to duplicate what's another company. If they got a hit, they're gonna try to duplicate that. So they got on the band trend. That's how the bands came back. Years ago, bands was the headliners. You went to a dance or something, all you had was a band. Bang. And bands would carry the whole night, dance all night with the band. Then the record company decided to started taking the band singer and making him a soloist. Now they got two acts. They got the band selling records. Now they done made took the solo out the band and made him a solo act, and that's how the groups started coming about. Then they started getting these little groups, street groups going on, and then the groups and singers just took over the record business. But bands and orchestra was the king of the record business in the early days.
Especially a lot of them came out of New York, like you mentioned,
Yeah,
Cameo and Brass
yeah,
Construction, and
yeah,
I think Mandrill was from around there. And
yeah.
yeah,
Everybody wanted them. Listen, they came in. One record company came over and hired Johnny King over for their record company so he could bring the Fatback sound over there. And when Johnny went over there and started playing his music and his style and what he wanted to play, they said, no, no, that ain't what we want. We want to hear that Fatback sound. Cat Johnny said, well, you're going to have to get Bill Curtis over here if you want a Fatback sound because all that's off of the top of Bill's head.
how does the band differ today? Would you say from back in the heyday?
Well, the group I have now is the fourth generation, and this group is the closest to the first generation. Why I say that? Because the group I have now, they're on the same page with me. It's hard to find musicians that are on the same page with you. In order to have a good group, everybody got to be on the same page. And this is the closest group I had to the first group that was on the same page. The first group, we moved like a unit. Like, if one person moved, everybody moved the same way. And this group that I'm with now is pretty close to that. If one person sneezes, everybody sneezes at the same time.
Got to have that chemistry.
Yes.
So, how can I know you have your website up behind you? How can people keep up with what's going on with yourself and Fatback?
You can always find me on the web. Fatbackband.com. www.fatbackband.com. If you have a problem with that, you can always Google Bill Curtis and it'll tell you where to find Fatback music. And if you can't find that, just just email me, bill.c32 at Hotmail, and I'll get you some Fatback music.
And you got something new coming in 2021, do you think?
Yes, I'm always gonna have something new. I'm gonna have something when they be taking me out, Scott. They're gonna be saying, "Bill, where did you put that last one? Where can we find it?"
Got to have that new music, man. It, it,
Yeah.
it may be this same old beat, but that beat is timeless and classic and fantastic. And thank you so much for bringing it all these years and giving us such great music and sprinkling that happy feeling throughout the world.
Thank you, Scott. Thank you. Before I go, Scott, if you get a chance, look for our Christmas music. We did our first Christmas music that we ever did. We did it this year, and it's a little late getting out there, but it's out there on Amazon somewhere. Fatback Funkin' Up Christmas.
Perfect. Definitely look out for that.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, Scott. Really appreciate it, man.
Bill, thank
Call
you
me
so much.
anytime.
I hope you enjoyed this episode of Truth in Rhythm. A big thank you goes out to our guest as well as to you, the viewer and listener. Also, much gratitude to Pleasure for supplying the show's funky opening and closing music. As a reminder, you can always access the complete list of linked shows by episode at funkinstuff.net. I urge you to support this program and receive the extra benefits along with that by subscribing to the Funkin' Stuff channel on YouTube and sharing it with funk, R&B, and jazz lovers, joining Truth and Rhythm's membership program at Patreon, submitting a donation at funkinstuff.net, buying Everything is on the One, the First Guide to Funk book at Amazon, shopping at the Funky Things store for cool merchandise at funkinstuff.net, and linking through funkinstuff.net for all of your Amazon purchases. In addition, if you're an artist or anyone seeking proven, results-oriented professional marketing, PR, writing, or editing consultation or production, check out the media services section at funkinstuff.net. Also, I encourage you to drop me a line at scottg@funkinstuff.net. I love the feedback, suggestions, guest requests, appearance and sponsorship inquiries, and just talking about my favorite subject, groove-based music. For now, and as always, this is Scott Dr. GX Goldfine saying, keep on vibing to the rhythm of the one.